Here are a few things you should consider before moving your toilet. I understand a lot of people want to remodel their bathroom and they say, hey, I'm going to move my toilet over 2 feet or 5 feet, or move it in a different spot. And it's not always going to work. You're not going to be able to do it all the time. Now, this would be if you have a crawl space underneath and plumbing, you might have, your chances might be increased. A basement, yep, increasing your chances. However, if it's a second floor or a third floor and all the way up, there you might not be able to because the space would be limited in between the joists. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's remove the walls and the floor sheathing and see what we have here. Here is the toilet and the drain pipe. Depending upon the size of the drain pipe, 4-inch pipes usually can drain 1/8 of an inch per foot. This would be the minimum. A 3-inch pipe would need to drain, a 3-inch in diameter, inside diameter pipe would need to drain 1/4 of an inch per foot minimum. So this is usually going to be our problem. You can see the pipe is sloping here. And let's just, for general reference, we'll just say that we're working with a 3-inch pipe here. So a distance from the pipe here where it intersects with the other coupling, let's just say that it's 6 feet. So in order for it to slope a quarter of an inch per foot, we would need to have a space where the pipe could be raised up 1.5 inches on this side. So 6-foot pipe, 1/4 of an inch for each foot of the pipe. If we multiply 1/4 of an inch times 6 feet, we'll get 1.5 inches. That's the distance that the pipe needs to raise. So, and again, this is usually our problem, is that we usually don't have enough room because the fittings are tight. You know, you can't cut the fittings. And here you can see where the fitting is actually connected right to the other fitting. So for this case right here, you wouldn't be able to move the pipe any further at all if there are no fittings that would allow you to do so. So if you have a toilet flange and it's glued right on top of a fitting and you can't make it work, and there are flanges, I'm sure. Plumbers are creative. They have all sorts of fittings. If you can find a fitting that would work, then you're going to be in good shape. Another problem I'd like to point out is that when you do have a toilet like this, I actually put one in a house, and they don't have enough drop here. And they are glued like this, right up to the top because you don't have enough room. The toilets don't seem to flush as good. So I just want to point that out also. It's something to consider. So, and then of course this would be based on keeping the toilet pipe, the drain pipe, in the joist bay or level with the ceiling. Now there is something else you can do. I've done it before. I've done it in garages. I don't want to do it I wouldn't want to do it inside a house, but you can actually, if you don't have enough room, you can lower the pipe and the fitting. And you know, obviously it'd be difficult to do in a basement wall, but if this was a wood framed wall, you could lower the fitting and then build a little box here. Just build a little box, and then you would drywall the ceiling and then drywall the box. And the box would just simply be an extension. If you needed 4 more inches, you would just extend nail a board on to the bottom of the joist, and 4 inches, and then you could drywall that and cover it all up. So I hope that makes sense. If not, I can always make a video, leave a comment in the comment area, and I'll do so. Let's take a look at another situation where the drain pipe goes into a T, and we have some drop here, and the fitting is actually glued close to the plate. And this, of course, would work great because this situation here would allow you to get a lot of drop here for the waste, and the toilet would flush easier. Now, this situation here would be nice You could move the toilet further back, because all you would need to do would be to cut the pipe right here, and then you would get rid of this right here. This wouldn't work because you probably wouldn't be able to put another fitting in here, but with this right here, you could actually cut the pipe here and then extend it further. You'd be able to extend it the distance that you have here, as long as your fittings would work. So you could basically, if you were going to move it 4 feet, then all you would need to do is remove 1 inch from here, and then you could move it 4 feet this way. If you had a situation like this, you would just get some different parts because, like I said, you probably wouldn't be able to put a coupling in here to do so. But if you had the room, then that would be great. You could simply just remove a section of this, install a coupling, and you'd be fine. But this wouldn't be a bad situation if you have a room here. You have a pipe in here, and this fitting isn't glued right to this fitting, then you could always extend the toilet out. This would be a good situation. Extend the toilet out and then reduce the distance here, which would allow you to get the proper drainage in. Here's another example where the T is lifted off of the plate and the toilet flange doesn't have much room in between the elbow. And if you have a situation like this, you could always remove this section and lower the T and then redo the plumbing here. So if you wanted to move, let's say you wanted to move this another 2 feet this way, you would just simply need to drop this 1/2 inch. And of course, you could always drop it more and then have more of a drop here, like I was talking about in the last example. So this situation and the one before, you can actually do something with. The first example with the long pipe, something like that, you might not be able to do anything with. The thing that you're going to need to look at is to see if you have enough room to move or modify the plumbing. If you have room here in between the flange and the fitting, you're going to be able to move it a certain distance. If you have room here, you're going to be able to drop something like this. Then you're going to be able to move the toilet. But if you have 2x10 joists or 2x12 joists, sometimes it's not. These toilets aren't more than 4 or 5 feet away, it seems like. I shouldn't say that. I built one time, like I told you about earlier, where I had to drop the ceiling a little bit to make it work. But you're not going to have much room. With a 3-inch and 4-inch pipe, you're going to have even less room to work with, and it's always cramming this stuff in. So, like I said earlier, a crawl space and a basement, you might have a little more to work with, but a floor, like a second floor in a 2-story home, not going to have much room.